My friends, let's do a love reading. I wanted to do a different type of reading today, so I felt called to do a reading between you and your person, or the person you're energetically connected to. And I felt called to use two different decks. So I'm going to be using the white deck for you. This is the Dreamy Moons Tarot. And I got it on Tarot Stack, but I believe it's also available on Etsy, Dreamy Moons Tarot. And there's two. This is like the creamy version or something. Anyway, I'm also hearing something about how the cream rises to the top. I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. So I was going to use this deck for you and this deck for your person. And today we're going to be looking at, I had to look at what they were. Today we're going to be looking at how you think they feel about you and how you feel about them. And then from their deck, we're going to be looking at how they think you feel about them and how they feel about you. So it might get a little confusing, but I'll try and keep it straight. So interestingly enough, you have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. And it's also the energy of, a spiritual mentor, spiritual lessons. To me, it is symbolic of a soul contract as well. So you could feel like you have a soul contract with this person. It's higher level of commitment. And then they have the Ace of Swords. So breakthrough, clarity. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out in this reading. And I'm going to use both decks at the same time. So hopefully we can keep things straight. But first, we're going to look to see if this is your reading. You may be dealing with a runner here. Hang on. All right, so let's see, or maybe you're running from this connection. We're going to see what energy is surrounding the two of you right now within this soul contract, I want to say. And you'll know if this is your reading. If you're not resonating with these cards, then it's probably not your reading. So we do have palm tree on the bottom, stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance. So you could be both working on your strength, growth, stability right now. We also have sunglasses, so someone could be watching the other person here. I hope that it's them watching you, not the other way around. So let's look at what we need to know about this connection. What do we need to know about this connection? So it feels like this was a triggering connection because we have triggers coming out. We also have, whoa, okay, that's a lot of cards. Let me just show them to you here. So we do have triggers coming out. Fleeting, triggers, turmoil, resentment, lessons, letting go, and loving you. That was coming out with separation. So it feels like this was a connection that was very triggering. Perhaps it was fleeting. There could have been resentment towards each other. You could have been resentful towards them for their actions. They could have been resentful for some reason. Lessons. And it's interesting because on your deck, the Hierophant was the top card that I flipped over. And to me, the Hierophant speaks of spiritual lessons. And I always say the Hierophant, a soul contract that's meant to teach you certain lessons. Letting go and loving you. So I'm hearing a few different things. You could be trying to release this connection right now, or letting go of it and learning how to love yourself. It could have been that this person needed to let you go. And then in separation, they're having a breakthrough moment. They're having clarity that they love you. I also wanted to show you this. I love animals. And at different stages in my life, I become obsessed with different animals. So I always loved elephants. Elephants, one of my favorite animals. And then a few years ago, I started being drawn towards platypuses. And I started collecting stuffed platypuses. There's one right there. And that's a niffler, which looks like a platypus. And then recently, I've been drawn to Highland cows. It started with this Texas Longhorn cow, and then it grew. Well, I've always loved cows. Look, there's a cow right there. I've always loved cows. But recently, I've been becoming obsessed with Highland cows. And Highland cows, this came today, which is why it's here in your reading. So this came right before I started your reading. And the spiritual symbolism of the Highland cow is about endurance. It's about fertility. It's very much, to me, it kind of gives me a little bit of Empress energy. So I don't know why I'm telling you this. There was a reason I started talking about the Highland cow, but you could be, maybe you're a divine feminine. Anyway, he's cute, huh? So we have a lot of cards coming out. We have separation. So a relationship meant to teach you lessons where there were triggering these connections, these soul contracts, where there's triggers and you mirror each other's triggers or you awaken those unhealed wounds. They can be very triggering, but they can be hard. They can be hard lessons to learn. So I feel like there was a lot of turmoil within this connection, which puts you into separation. Sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of the future. And perhaps, you've felt a bit of this energy. I almost feel like right now, because of these two cards I'm seeing, I feel like right now you are sitting in your Hierophant energy. You're learning these lessons, working on your spirituality. Could be in divine feminine energy or working on your divine feminine energy. And I feel like this person is having some sort of breakthrough. And there's something about communication here because you have a few cards about communication here. So like I said, I'll explain all these cards and then tarot will tell us who's who here. So we have coffee cup. Actually, let's go with butterfly next. I'm seeing kind of a progression here. Triggering connection, meant to teach you lessons, followed by separation. That's where the growth happens. That's where you work on your stability and you work on your self-love during the separation. Then we have the butterfly. Relationship evolving, healing the inner child and growth. So through this separation, you're healing your inner child, they're healing their inner child. I feel like with the trigger and the lessons, you could have triggered each other's unhealed childhood wounds. So this person could have showed up in a way that triggered wounds that you had connected to your childhood, specifically about like your parents. So I'll just give you an example. I'm not saying that this is your example. I'm just going to give you an example as an example. So the easiest one for me to use is, let's say you had an inconsistent parent who was very hot and cold with their love for you, and you never knew when you were going to get affection, when maybe you walked on eggshells, maybe there was an inconsistency. This is just an example. My kids are screaming again. Before I started this reading, I taught them how to play Old Maid. So they're down there squealing about Old Maid. But you could have grown up in a household where maybe you were walking on eggshells because you had a parent that was very inconsistent, hot and cold. You never knew which version you were going to get. Perhaps you started like overgiving to earn that affection. And if you never healed that wound as a child, because as children we adapt and we learn how to people please, or we learn how to keep ourselves safe, not anger our parents, whatever your situation. If you never healed that wound, it's possible this person mirrored that. And what I mean by that is they could have been very similar with you energetically. So maybe they were inconsistent. Maybe they were hot and cold. Maybe you never knew when you were going to get affection from them. And that could have triggered you. That could have triggered a wound in you to teach you a lesson. Again, that's just an example. It doesn't have to be your example. There's lots of examples I could use, but that's the one that came to mind. So through this separation, the butterfly, both of you evolving, healing the inner child and growth. And if you are a counterpart, that's when the growth happens, is in separation. It doesn't happen when you're together, triggering the out of each other. It happens in separation. So then we have camera, reminiscing, keepsake, perception. And it's so interesting because that's kind of what this reading is about. I want to see what your perception, how you think they feel about you, what you think their perception is, and what their perception is, and your perception. You get it. Learning from the past, making memories. And this is also Six of Cups energy. So again, speaking of that childhood wound, learning from the past. And your perception, I'm seeing that card about fragmentation of the soul. So this person's behavior could have really triggered you, maybe more so than other people have ever triggered you, because they were triggering something from your past. Then we have coffee cup. So someone wanting to meet and talk with you. And we have talking. Interested in conversing. Awaited message arrives, text, call, email, hovering. And this hovering energy is someone who's like hovering over their phone. So I'm not sure if that's you or them. It could be both of you. Energetically, this person, let's just say this is their phone. They could keep picking it up, wanting to send you a message, but not sending it. You could be on the other end. Maybe you keep picking up your phone thinking you're going to get a message. The message never comes. I was also hearing something about what is blocking communication, so I might ask that as well. But someone's interested in conversing here. And like I said, I'm not sure if that's you. It probably, on some level, is you. But they have the Ace of Swords, which speaks of communication. So I more so think it's them. I think that you're focused on your spiritual growth here. I just drooled a little. I think that you're focused on your spiritual ascension. Maybe even your mission. All right, so let's just get two more. That was 6 that all came out together. Okay, so this just, when I picked up the deck, this fell off. Healing heart. Healing from heartbreak, focusing on self-love, healing from those past wounds, like I said. All right, so let's just get 2 more. Well, that's the 2. We have the dragonfly. I love when the dragonfly and the butterfly come out to... I love when the dragon and the butterfly come out together. Twin flame. I can't run. You know what's funny is that I often channel twin flame collectives. It's like I cannot run from the twin flame collectives. Just like I always say, you can run, but you can't hide. So we do have twin flame and passion here. So it feels like you and this person feel a spark between you that you've never felt before. This was a triggering connection because you're twin flames, meant to trigger everything unhealed. And as someone, on this journey, I can tell you that my childhood wounds laid dormant in me, and they laid within me as resentment and anger and depression and anxiety for years and years and years and years and years. And then when I got on the counterpart journey, the twin flame journey, all of those wounds ripped open. Ripped open. And it's been truly a healing experience. Insane chemistry, passion, coming out with twin flame. So you and this person feel a pull towards each other. And I said yesterday when I did that reading, you can't really explain that to someone who's never experienced it. You kind of sound crazy when you try to explain it. There are no words even. And it can be frustrating. And I've seen you guys talking about it. It can be frustrating when you feel a soul connection with someone like this. And look at that Hierophant. There is a yin and yang symbol there. Well, that's why I needed to get 2 more cards. So remember this. How can I put this? This isn't about... There's lots of different opinions about twin flames there. It's not about 2 souls coming together, love at first sight. Oh, we love each other so much. Let's live happily ever after. Sunshine, rainbows, whatever else. I don't know. I was hearing white picket fence. It's not like that. It's a connection. You meet as caterpillars and it breaks you down. It triggers you. It breaks you down. So you come together like magnets. Where are my magnets? Hang on. So you usually come together in serendipitous ways. Someone asked me if I would do a video without a reading talking about twin flames, which I am going to do. But you meet very serendipitously. You do feel an instant, your souls recognize each other, and it's hard to explain. It's like an inner knowing. It's like a familiarity. You just feel drawn to them. Especially like their energy, their voice, their eyes. And there's like a love bubble phase. There's a honeymoon phase where you just align on so many levels, and the chemistry is insane. The passion is insane. The pull is insane. And then it just kind of goes 0 to 100. It's like very 8 of Wands, very like rapid feelings, quick feelings. And just as quickly, so you come together like magnets, and then kind of just as quickly, sometimes within a few months, you start to trigger each other. I'm laughing at my kids because they're so loud. You start to trigger each other. And all of those unhealed wounds start getting ripped open, and you start to repel each other's energy. And usually what happens is the feminine kind of has like a soul remembrance of the connection, subconsciously, I want to say. And it doesn't really matter that there's wounding and like triggers. The feminine starts to chase the other person, because even through triggers, they still feel this insane chemistry, this love for their counterpart. There's usually a runner and a chaser. I've heard of 2 runners. I've never come across 2 chasers. But usually it's a runner and a chaser. So once you start triggering each other and tower moments start to happen and a separation needs to happen, usually what happens is the feminine starts chasing. They don't want that separation because of the love that they feel. And maybe, it also stems from, I know it stems from a place of fear of abandonment. So they kind of anxiously attach chaser energy. These unhealthy patterns start getting triggered within both of you. And the chaser starts chasing, and the other person, the runner, starts running. And it doesn't matter how much the chaser chases the runner, they can't come together. And it's when you go into separation, you start healing those inner child wounds, you start reclaiming your divine feminine energy, learning how to love yourself, setting healthy boundaries. That's when the energy, like once the feminine takes their attention, not talking about gender, there's lots of masculine feminines out there. Once the chaser takes their attention off of that person and starts going inward towards themselves, which is what this journey is about. It's about, I totally lost my train of thought with the caterpillars, but once the chaser starts going inward, focusing on self-love, focusing on their mission, the dynamics change. And then that chaser, that chaser starts to go inward. And yesterday I said sometimes, or I had a download when I was looking at the stars about how by chasing the runner, when you're supposed to be going inward and loving yourself, it's like you're running from yourself. You're chasing your runner and you're running from yourself. So when the chaser goes inward and starts to pour all that energy into themselves, the energy shifts. The runner stops running. And when you stop chasing, the runner stops running, healing happens, growth. That's when you come back together into union. It doesn't happen instantly. It's a very long journey. But my point is, the twin flame connection is about you. It's about healing all of those unhealed wounds that you've had your whole life that maybe you just stuck a Band-Aid on. It's about evolving into the highest version of yourself. It's about coming into union with yourself. It's about discovering your mission. And then once you both heal, that's when union can happen. But the point of the connection isn't union, which can be triggering for some people to hear. It's actually, to me, the twin flame journey is, and to a lot of twin flame readers, light workers, it's about the journey with yourself. So like I said, you meet, before I lost my train of thought, you meet as caterpillars. And then you trigger, I forgot to mention, usually the divine feminine, no, not usually, the divine feminine, once the separation happens, there's like a dark night of the soul that the feminine goes through. There's awakenings that the feminine goes through. But you meet as caterpillars, and then there needs to be a separation so that you can go into your cocoons, because you can't transform in the same cocoon as much as lots of you want to. You can't. You need room in your cocoon. And then once you're both butterflies, you come back together. And if you evolve into a butterfly and there's still a caterpillar, you can't energetically come back together. You both have to evolve into butterflies. For some reason, I'm seeing Despicable Me, where she's like, oh, my cheesy didn't turn in, or my caterpillar didn't turn into a butterfly. So maybe, your person hasn't turned into a butterfly yet. Somebody has, though. We do have the dragonfly, things coming to light, adapt, change, heal. And like I said, I love when these two cards come out together, because to me it's very symbolic of once you turn into the butterfly, the feminine, the masculine turns into this dragonfly. It's really interesting how, looking back over my life, I can see the signs and synchronicities that were always there. Like on my left shoulder, I have butterflies and dragonflies on my arm. But anyway, and that's the other thing about this journey, is that a lot of it is in darkness. Like when you think about the dragonfly lives most of its life underwater in the darkness. It has no idea the beauty that lies above the surface. It has no idea that it's going to be able to grow wings and fly and have freedom and experience a whole new world. Little Mermaid could be symbolic. Or no, wait, that's Aladdin. Never mind. Aladdin could be symbolic. A whole new world. And to me, that is very symbolic of the twin flame journey. It's dark. It's kind of like the lotus growing through the mud. The lotus has to grow through the mud before it transforms. Is there a lotus on here? She's in a lotus. That's exactly what I mean. That doesn't happen in 3 months. It doesn't happen in a year. It takes a while. But my point is that most of the journey feels like you're in this kind of dark place. Things are uncertain. You have to learn how to rely on your intuition, because you don't have the validation because you're in separation. That's another divine feminine quality, if you are a divine feminine, is learning how to trust your intuition without outside validation. without validation in the 3D. And what awaits you above that surface is so beautiful. And it's evolving into your higher self. You know, it's learning how to love yourself, being in union with yourself, working towards your mission. Broken record over here. As someone who's on their mission, that's why I talk about it all the time, because it's been one of the most amazing things that have ever happened to me in my life. And I had no idea. I was down there in the darkness, little nymph creature, the dragonfly, and I had no idea what was waiting for me above the surface. I was thinking about it this morning, like, I'm like the polar opposite of the person I used to be because of this journey and the lessons I've learned and the healing I've done. Join us in the light. Anyway, I think it's interesting that Spirit was like, get 2 more cards, and then Twin Flame came out. And I was hearing Divine Feminine. He's so cute. All right. Hopefully that made sense. I admit that message was a little all over the place. All right, now what do I want to do? I want to see how you're doing with animal cards and then how you think they're doing, and vice versa. All right. The viewer, the Divine Feminine. Show me the Divine Feminine. Oh, listen. You can do it. I'm going to talk about mission work for a minute here. Working on your stability, working on your spiritual awakening or your spirituality, like I said, with that. Could be about mission work with the Hierophant, being a healer, a mentor to others. But this represents someone who's like full of magic, but they're new. Like they don't trust their own, they feel like a noob. And you know what? I used to sit and watch tarot and feel like a noob. You know, you could have gifts that you're afraid to share with the world here. Gifts that could bring you stability, that could bring you community, that could bring you financial independence. Interesting. To bring into balance, risk embarrassment and speak up. The earthworm. The other take I could take on this, because I'm shuffling it for both you and your person, is that your person has this energy of wanting to talk to you. But if they feel like they're a noob, like they've just started healing, maybe you're someone who's farther along on your journey. Maybe there's the caterpillar and you're the butterfly. And if they feel like you're farther ahead of them on your healing journey, I gotta talk about mission. If you don't want to hear about your mission, and you're a Divine Feminine, you have a mission. And if it's triggering you when I talk about mission work, it could be that you have some sort of block. But I need to talk about mission, because this is about claiming your life's purpose. The tarantula. It truly is about claiming your life's purpose. And this card is about feeling like you don't know enough, or you're a newbie. To bring into balance, risk embarrassment and speak up. Share your voice. Go after your dream. Claim your life's purpose. Anyway, back to your person. They could feel like you're further along on your healing journey. And maybe they feel like they're just starting out on their healing journey. All right. Then we have the vulture, what you thought was a blessing or a tragedy, why do I always say that? What you thought was a tragedy is actually a blessing in disguise. And everybody will tell you, not everybody, but there's a lot of like black and white thinking out there that if it was meant to be, it would happen. If they wanted to, they would. If they loved you, they would just be with you. This shows that maybe what you thought was a tragedy, maybe this this connection, the breakup, the triggers, the turmoil, the tower, was actually a blessing because it's allowing both of you to heal. And this is about rebalancing energy. And that's where the magic happens on the twin flame journey, is in separation. Separations between twin flames allow the energy to balance back out. Oh my. And we have the dragon, which is about releasing the ego or healing the ego. All right, let's see your energy. Your energy. The whale, beautiful. The cosmic egg. So, the whale is about feminine energy, and it's about, I believe it's about emotional intelligence. So remember how I said the earthworm, your person could feel like you are very good at communicating your feelings. They could feel like you've overcome a lot in your life, and they could feel like they need to do more before they reach out. Remember the energy of the earthworm, risk embarrassment and speak up. So the whale, beautiful. Music could be symbolic, water energy, and you also have the cosmic egg, which is about awakening. It's about completion. Hello, Mr. Crow. How are you today? Delving deeper. Ancient wisdom, delving deeper. Hierophant. Profound emotional health and stability. I like that for you. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. That's you. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost, and trust them to be the beacon in our darkest hour. When in balance, I'm going to read all of these to you so that you know if you're still struggling with some of the shadows. When in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy and slips into the old story. So are you feeling heavy right now, or do you have moments where you still feel heavy and you still slip into the old story? Maybe, I don't know what your old story could be. It could differ for a lot of you. My old story used to be, it's just a karmic. My old story used to be, well, I'm wounded because I had a tough childhood. To bring into balance, regular self-care. And self-care is so important. Because who takes care of you? You need to take care of you. Reparent yourself. Be your own mother is what I'm hearing. Whatever gender you are. And then, look. I was wondering if that was going to come out. I know this is a buffalo, different animal. But I was looking at this, thinking about the Hierophant and thinking about the buffalo before I started your reading. And this is Hierophant energy. And underneath that, we've got the turtle, which is about someone who collects life experiences underneath their shell, You've been through a lot. You've overcome a lot. You've collected all of these experiences in your life. Spirit, this is supposed to be a love reading. Do you know what Spirit just said to me? You know, listen to what you just told them about the twin flame journey. It's not about the other person, it's about them. But the turtle collects all of these life experiences underneath their shell that they then use to help others later on in life. That's why I share so much about myself with you guys. If you could have seen me 10 years ago, you would not recognize me. You wouldn't. You'd be like, what is wrong with Kelly? You're awakening to your spiritual power, to your spiritual purpose, working on grounding and stability right now, self-care. Your rewards will be your efforts will be rewarded is what I'm hearing. My goodness, that's some powerful stuff right off the get-go. I'm going to put him right in front of my phone so that I can look at him and you. All right, I want to see how you think this person feels about you. How do you think this person is feeling about you? Interesting. Ooh. So you could think that this person was triggered by you with the fire ant, fire energy, water energy, water energy. So I'm going to talk about the fire ant first. So for how you think this person is feeling about you, you think that, they felt the passion too. You could think that there's other people's opinions involved. Because the fire ant, I always see like all of these fire ants around. So you could feel like this person has people in their life that have opinions about this connection, which is also a blockage on the twin flame journey, is other people's opinions. You could also feel like this person, let's just say you are doing something where you're sharing your light and your passion. You could feel like this person thinks you're attracting a lot of attention. The fire ant also talks about a situation where somebody got burned in the past. So I'm hearing a few different things. You could feel like this person is thinking about a situation in the past where they burned you and they owe you an apology. You could also be thinking, that crow is being so loud. You could be thinking these connections. Yes, these connections do confuse me when I read twin flame. But these readings where I'm like, how you think they feel, it always confuses my mouth. And my brain, obviously. You could feel maybe you burned this person in the past, or you think that they're still holding resentment against you. But look at what came out for how you think they feel about you. We have the swan. So I feel like you do feel like they're reflecting about you right now. And they do feel a soul connection with you because the swans represent twin flames or a soul connection, soulmate. This is how you think this person feels about you. So you think they're reflecting about you right now. You think that why does this hurt my brain? You think that they feel like you are taking time to take care of yourself right now, to be alone right now. which means, I don't think that you're chasing this person because this is how you think they feel about you. This is about solo time. So you think that they feel like you're taking your space, or they needed to take space from this. All right, let's see your person's energy. Show me their person's energy. That's divine masculine energy. That's about movement. Action. Whoa. Whoa. So you both got spiritual cards. You got feminine energy. They got masculine energy. Your spiritual card was the golden egg, which is about a completion. Like spiritually. They got the golden egg, which is about, I believe the golden egg talks about needing quiet to hear the message of the golden egg. You can't force it, you can't chase it, you can't push it, you can't convince it. And they have the camel, which fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The cheetah is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So there's a lot of fire in their energy, movement. The camel is about, it's very much King of Cups energy to me. And your energy, the whale, is like King and Queen of Cups. But anyway, it's about managing one's own reactions. So this person could have had really big reactions. Remember, I was saying fragmentation of the soul. When somebody has big reactions like that, I don't even want to call them overreactions, but that's what someone who doesn't understand what they are would call them, overreactions. It's because something in their soul, it's fragmentation of the soul. Something in their soul was broken and wounded as a child. And remember how I said maybe you and this person were mirroring each other's parental wounds? So like if you did something that reminded them or triggered that childhood wound memory of their parents, they could have had like an explosive reaction. And that reaction had more to do with the childhood wound than what you were doing. But you were triggering that fragmented soul. Overreactions to seemingly small problems or issues, that's fragmentation of the soul. So there is movement in their energy. There's also the energy of like quiet with the golden egg. And again, you can't remember the magnets. And I was saying like the divine feminine chases because first of all, the divine feminine struggles with a fear of abandonment. But also they have this soul remembrance. They feel that unconditional love towards their counterpart quite quickly. And the chaser acts in ways to convince or to try and keep that connection from falling apart. And that golden egg says you can't force this person to hear this message. They need to hear it by themselves. Remember the vulture. What you thought was a tragedy, separation, was actually a blessing in disguise. Where are you? The golden egg. Message at the center of the heart, their intuition. So, deep within the golden egg lives a precious sound. Deep within that sound resides a message. The sound cannot be heard nor the message discerned until we retreat. So this person needed to retreat, needed to solo time, the swan. The magical essence of the golden egg needs warmth, quiet, and time to unfold. And that's one of the things is that divine feminines or feminines, before they're divine feminines, they can chase, they can want to control the outcome, they can be impatient for things to unfold naturally. And I feel like right now, the Hierophant, you are focused on your own unfolding, the unfolding of those lotus leaves. No rushing, pushing, or grasping. And it talks about introspection, contemplation, when the mind begins to settle. So this person could have had an overactive mind. When the mind begins to settle and the breath is calm, ask the question that weighs heaviest on your heart. And this is also someone becoming more comfortable with vulnerability. But think of a camel, like a camel spits, right? So you could have been dealing with someone who, when they felt threatened or scared, they had reactions. Where is... the camel? Resourceful, independent, knows oneself. So they're getting to know themselves. Where is it? Self-reliant, handles challenges with ease, even in the face of excess heat, judgment, or anger. But I feel like you were dealing with someone who wasn't in that camel energy. Being responsible for one's own reactions. So when it's in balance, they can handle challenges, excess heat. Remember the fire ant. Judgment or anger, they can handle it. But when it's out of balance, which I think it was in the past, they can't handle it. I'm hearing you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Maybe this person needed to get out of the kitchen. This is good. And it's causing movement in their energy. And you have very feminine energy here. So how do they think you feel about them? How do they think you feel about them? How do they think you feel about them? So we have the stingray. So this is how they think you feel about them. Maybe you had to put up boundaries. Maybe you had to assert yourself. This is how they're thinking you feel about them. Personal growth. So they feel like for how they think you feel about them, they think you feel like there's someone who needs to learn healthy boundaries or respect boundaries and go through personal growth. Maybe you feel, or this is how they think you feel. Maybe they think you feel that they lack the backbone to stand up to other people's opinions or to take accountability or whatever it is here with this stingray. This is how they think you feel about them. Maybe you learned a lesson from this connection. Like so many divine feminines, you learned how to assert yourself and put up boundaries. Where is it? Where are you, stingray? Who knew a game of Old Maid could be so thrilling? Do you hear them down there? Sense of self. That is so interesting for how they think you feel about them. They think you feel like they need to develop a sense of self. Their current energy is developing a sense of self, the camel. They think that you feel that they need to go through personal growth. Pressure from family and friends. That's exactly what I'm talking about. When out of balance, blames others and quits. So they could feel like you feel they project outwards. They point the finger. They blame others for their problems. Or that they quit things easily. To bring into balance, move through the discomfort. All right. Animal cards away. So So I'm just going to get a few from this feelings deck before we move on. So we're just going to get a few. Let's look at how you're feeling first. Long journey. You could be feeling drained or tired of the journey. Let's see how you are feeling right now. How are you feeling? Okay. Look, peace, balance, harmony. So you could be working on grounding yourself right now. For how you feel, we have rejection. So this person could have rejected you, or they could have triggered a fear of rejection, fear of abandonment wound within you. Abandoned, dismissed, so you could feel like this person, remember the stingray, quits. So you could feel like they dismissed you, maybe after you stepped into your power. It also says irrational fear. And remember how I was talking about fragmentation of the soul? So this is how you're feeling right now. Abandoned, dismissed. We have loyalty. So you were abandoned and dismissed even though you were loyal, even though you were, golden retriever energy, even though you were reliable, loyal. Hang on. All right, so you feel, you have 4 cards here, and I'm going to be very brutally honest about what I'm seeing in these cards. So, and I'm not saying this is how you have to feel. These are the cards coming out. So remember that long journey. Now we have trapped. So you feel trapped. You feel tied down by this soul connection. And I think it's because, like so many divine feminines, you could feel loyal to this person, even though you're in separation, even though you're not together, even though you're not in a committed relationship. You feel maybe a higher level of commitment to them. And I am in no way saying that divine feminines have to remain loyal, have to remain, celibate. But a lot of divine feminines, and it's not the same for divine masculines, but a lot of feminine counterparts talk about how, again, I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm not saying if you don't feel this way, you're not a counterpart. I'm not saying that it's wrong to date other people. I'm not saying any of that. But a lot of feminines on the counterpart journey, through no fault or choice of their own, feel a soul loyalty, or they choose the path of celibacy. They choose growth. They choose healing. And because they're so focused on their healing and evolving, like this lotus, they kind of don't really explore other connections. And I'm not saying that you can't explore other connections. And I'm not saying that if this is you, that makes you pathetic or hanging on to a ghost or anything, insert anything negative there. This is something that energetically happens to a lot of feminines, where they feel this soul loyalty, even though maybe their person isn't being loyal to them, where they feel like the only person they want is their counterpart. Again, it doesn't come from a needy place. It's like on a soul level that you feel it. So you could feel trapped and tied down in this journey right now. And you could be feeling like, why do I feel like that? This person abandoned me. They dismissed me. Why do I feel like it's only them? Why do I have this soul loyalty to this person? And if you think about it, like counterparts, twin flames, they're part of your soul. So you're being loyal to yourself by going inward. And again, a lot of feminines through no choice of their own, turn all that energy inward, and they don't even think about, they're not really, like, they don't even think about dating other people. I'm not saying you have to be that, but that's what I'm seeing in these cards, that you feel within this connection, you feel like your hands are tied. You feel like there's nothing that you can do. This person rejected you or they abandoned you, but you still feel this. And, you know, I see a lot of negative comments about feeling like this. And I don't think we should be judging people for feeling like this, especially when it's on a soul level that's hard to understand unless you've experienced it. And feeling like this towards someone who is rejecting you and dismissing you can leave you feeling mentally confused. It really is a hard thing to put into words. And feeling this or taking that path of healing and personal growth and celibacy is not, it doesn't mean that you're pathetic or any of those negative things that people will say. I see it all the time. Like this morning I was listening to another reader and I saw someone in her comment section like, you people are so pathetic. Like, fuck off. Why are you watching it then? Anyway, I want to see how you think they're feeling about you. We do have boundaries. So you maybe had to put up boundaries for your own peace of mind. Let's see how you think they're feeling about you. How do you think they're feeling about you? One more. Emotional storm, exhaustion is there. So, for how you think they feel about you, we do have turbulence, tension, arguments. Makes sense with the trigger card. So things were definitely triggering here. There were a lot of arguments between the two of you. We have emotional storm. So this is how you think they feel about you. So you have turmoil, which was in that first card with the triggers as well. So you could feel like this person feels like you're too emotional. You could also be feeling like, for how this person feels about you in this connection, that something was unstable and unbalanced. You could be feeling like they're feeling emotional or in their feelings about you right now. We do have hopeless. This is how you think they feel about you in this connection. Like there's no hope. You just trigger each other. But then we have depth. I feel like this is almost how you hope they're feeling. That they're coming into awareness. That what's interesting is you had the whale for your energy, which was about diving deep. You know, this is how you think they're feeling about you. Awareness, importance, value. So maybe you think that this person feels like you're finally seeing you're diving deep towards yourself, that you have better awareness of this, that you are seeing your own value. But I feel like you think this person is getting emotional over you. Let's see how they're feeling. How are they feeling? How are they feeling? Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So we have pain. I'll just go commitment, boundaries, beauty, clinging, watching you. So we have, look, thinking about you. So this is how they're feeling. Apprehensive, afraid, cautious about coming towards you because maybe they're still trying to learn how to balance their own reactions with the camel. Thinking about you, missing you, craving you, desiring. This always gives me Queen of Swords energy, the apprehensiveness. So they're in the energy where they feel apprehensive and afraid to approach you because they're not sure, what they're going to get. Are they going to get the sword? Are they going to walk straight into that boundary? We have commitment for how they feel about you, or how they're feeling about this connection right now. Commitment. We also have clinging, holding on, obsessing, spying. So they could be obsessively spying, but they feel this connection too. Like you feel stuck and tied down. They feel like they can't let go of your energy either. Then we have beauty, which is Empress energy. You don't look like the Highland cow, but the Highland cow is beautiful. But they feel like you are charming, graceful, kind-hearted. Like nobody compares to your beauty. And then we have boundaries. So either you said enough is enough, or they know they crossed a line. Let's see how they think you're feeling about them. How do they think you're feeling about them? How do they think you're feeling about them? How do they think you're feeling about them? All right. Clarity, truth. So this is how they think you're feeling about them. That you have clarity about them now. You see the truth. Also, something about honesty. So you want honesty from them. Remember, this is what they think you're feeling towards them. We have distance. So they think that you're feeling the distance. Separation, space, blockage. Could be physical distance. Could be emotional distance here. This is how they think you're feeling. Apology. So they think that you feel like you need an apology if they're to return. Forgiveness, return, sorry. They could also be feeling like if they grow and they come forward and apologize, they could be feeling like you would give them another chance. This is how they think you're feeling about them. That they need to go through self-growth, that they need to do some soul searching. Maybe you even said that to them because the stingray came out for the exact same question, which is very similar. And they think that you'd rather focus on your own self-growth. You're very self-focused right now rather than focusing on them. This is how they think. I'm repeating it for me. This is how they think you're feeling. Hoping for an apology. That's interesting because when I was asking how you think they're feeling about you, I kept saying, this is how I think I think this is how you hope they're feeling about you. I kept saying hope. Maybe your name's Hope. So they think that you are hoping that they are growing, and you're hoping that through the distance, they're gaining clarity and seeing your intentions and wanting to apologize. Them, not you. Oh, elusive. Deception. Dishonesty. Interesting. 7 of Swords behavior. That's interesting for how they think you're feeling about them. So they could have wronged you in some way. They could have projected onto you. There could have been manipulation with that card. So, that's really the only negative card. And this is how they think you're feeling about them. So they think you're feeling like they need to heal this and do some soul searching and apologize for this. 7 of Swords behavior. All right. I also saw Divine Feminine energy as I said it. As I said it, this flipped off the animal deck back upright. So you could be You could be feeling like they do think that you're their divine feminine. All right, so let's use your deck. So I did shuffle them. I didn't look at the bottom yet. This is you, Justice. So you could want an apology here, balance. They could have wronged you in some way, Libra energy. And what's on the bottom of theirs? We've got the King of Wands. Taking control of a situation, bold action, fire, Libra. All right, so let's look at you. I already shuffled. Let's look at your current energy. Show me the viewer's current energy. 10 of Cups, focused on, that's interesting. There's a lot of reflection happening here. The self, facing your shadows. You could be doing mirror work. You could be doing shadow work. You could be reflecting on what you truly want for your future with the 10 of Cups. You could be reflecting about happier times with this person right now. 10 of Cups, to me, like, let's take love off the table for a minute. 10 of Cups is about doing the inner healing so that you can have that fulfillment, so that you can feel that fulfillment. So you're focusing on things. You could be focusing on your kids, but it's almost like you're reflecting about what you want for the future. 10 of Cups. I'm hearing emotional healing as well with the mirror. Let's get one more for you. Yeah, we have the 9 of Cups, 4 of Wands. Oh my. So to me, this feels like you could be working on your, like, figuring out what your soul spark is. What your wish fulfillment is. That's so similar to that Hierophant card, except she's surrounded by lotuses on this card. So it feels like you're trying to keep a positive mindset about your future here. Do I think you're happily married right now? No, I don't. But I think you're focusing on keeping a positive mindset, on reflecting on what you truly want for the future. And you could be focused on your home and your stability here. You definitely could be feeling like this is your counterpart, that this is your wish, like to have union with them is your wish fulfillment. Interesting. I feel like you're doing a lot of inner healing right now. Let's see how you think they're feeling about you. How do you think they're feeling about you? Page of Crystals. Hanged Man. So you do feel like, for how you think they feel about you, they feel like you're holding back. Like you're not taking any action. There's a pause here. We have the Wheel of Fortune for how you think they feel about you. So you're feeling like they think there's adjustments they need to make before they come forward. I feel like you do think that this person feels this is a fated connection. We also have the Page of Crystals. So for how you think they feel about you, that they are interested in starting a conversation with you, that they're getting more information about you. Maybe they are watching you online. Maybe they're watching you, like, work on your happiness online in some way. For how you think they feel about you. Fated connection, but that there's adjustments that need to be made. New perspectives. So you could, again, I keep hearing hope. You could hope that this person is having new perspectives of you now in separation. Let's see how you're feeling about them. How are you feeling about them? Oh, we have the Knight of Pentacles. They're taking forever. The movie The Sandlot could be important. Yeah, they're stuck and stagnant for how you feel about them. There's nothing happening here. The Knight of Pentacles, I say it all the time. It's so slow moving, it looks stagnant. It looks like it's not moving. Kind of like It's interesting, though, because the Knight of Pentacles also talks about determination and dedication. So for how you feel about them, you could be very determined to overcome this stalemate. You could also be feeling like this person needs to go within. You definitely feel a strong connection with this person. How do you feel about them? We have the Nine of Crystals in reverse. So you do have hope that this can be recovered. You want to talk to this person. Eight of Crystals in the reverse. That's the Eight of Swords in reverse for how you feel about them. So I do feel like you needed to surrender this connection at some point, and that you have a new perspective of them. Six of Wands. You do want a successful outcome here. You do want victory here. One of the new perspectives could be that looking back, you do see that this person didn't make you feel loved and seen, that they neglected you. I want to see what you're hoping for. What are you hoping for here? And then we'll get into them. What are you hoping for? What is your hope? Because I keep hearing hope. King of Cups. Seven of Pentacles, the Empress. There's nothing wrong with having hope. And you know what? People who lack hope will be threatened by your hope. I get it all the time. So this is your hope for the future. I keep hearing hope. Seven of Pentacles, that your rewards will be, that your hard work will be rewarded, that your investments, remember I said that at one point? I even said it wrong. Hoping that your hard work will be rewarded. Your hope is that this person will invest in this connection in the future. That what you've been working towards will grow fruit. And we have the King of Cups for what you're hoping for the future. So you're hoping for this person to reciprocate this love. The highest form of love there is, King of Cups. Remember when the camel came out, I said King of Cups energy. So you're hoping that when this person invests in this, that they will be emotionally intelligent, that they will be able to handle their reactions in the heat of the moment, that they'll be able to reciprocate your love. And look at what we've got on the bottom, the Empress, you evolving out of that lotus. And this is about a healthy, sensual, committed relationship when it comes to love. The Empress, it's about the birth of something new. So your hope for the future is that you can have this committed, sensual connection, healthy connection with this person. And look at the fruit. You're hoping that you'll see the rewards of the rewards of your efforts. Look at the fruit all over her. Your hope for the future is that you will be able to embody this divine feminine energy permanently. Oh, I need to cover it up. The Lovers, union. That's your hope for the future. That doesn't make you pathetic. Did somebody call you pathetic? I'm your big sister. Tell me where they are. What can you focus on right now? What can you focus on? What can you focus on? What can you focus on? Queen of Cups. Look at the lotuses that keep coming out for you. Maybe you have a lotus tattoo. It makes me sad. My sister really wanted to get a lotus tattoo when she started like transforming. I don't know how many years ago this was, like 10. So she got a closed lotus on her wrist, and she said, when I feel like I've grown and evolved, I'll get the open one on my other wrist. Hasn't happened yet. Lotuses could be symbolic. Focus growing through that mud, okay? Know that what lies above the surface is better than you could have ever imagined or hoped for. Queen of Cups, very intuitive. Trust your intuition. Focus on your own healing. Focus on setting healthy boundaries. Focus on self-love. Focus on protecting your energy from people who just want to take from you. And your hope for the future is that this person will match your energy. Look at that, a pair, counterparts. Embody this so that you can call in this. We have the King of Wands, so focus on your creativity, focus on being a light to others, a leader to others. And the turtle. Your life experiences could help people. There's only one you, and maybe someone is waiting to hear your message. Maybe someone will resonate with your message the way that some of you resonate with my message when I talk about my experiences. Focus on being a leader to others. Where's my book? Focus on going within right now. I opened right up to the King of Wands. That's magical. Focus on the big picture. Focus on your future vision, what you want for the future. Take control of your energy. Daring decisions, boldness, optimism. Mentorship. So maybe being mentored by someone else or being a mentor to others. The Hierophant. Trust oneself. Listen, the King of Wands. Trust yourself. Your intuition knows the way. This is a time to fully embrace your strength and wisdom, which will enable you to make a huge difference in the world. Who cares if you're the earthworm and you're a newbie? Who cares? I don't care. I'll watch you. And choosing between, you do have the Two of Swords here for what you need to focus on. So follow your intuition when making decisions and deal with conflict directly through clear communication. It is also a signal to accept this period of uncertainty while keeping the faith and the hope that a better future will emerge. And this also mentions choosing between career paths. So just I had a really hard time letting go of my career as a photographer to do this because I had all these thoughts like, I'm a noob. Who's going to watch me? What am I going to say to people? I replaced self-criticism with self-encouragement and understanding. Fucking right you do. That's your affirmation. And the old me was clinging on to my photography job, even though it wasn't lighting up my soul anymore. And it took me so long to make that leap of faith and put myself out there, King of Wands energy. But once I did it, no regrets. And all of a sudden, I had more interest in doing this than touching, like going to take photos or touching the editing on my computer. And there was an adjustment period where I still had to be a photographer for like 6 months after I started my channel while I was getting on my feet on my channel. And then 6 months in, I was like, goodbye photography. Anyway, all three of your cards, Queen of Cups, King of Wands, Two of Swords, they all say the same thing. Trust your intuition. Let's see what might be blocking you. What's the potential block on your side? What's the block on your side? We've got the Flower of Life, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles. So what's the block on your side? Flower of Life is about creation. So what are you feeling called to create that you're not creating? Flower of Life is the card that comes, it's even in the reverse. It comes after the Self card, that mirror that I showed you. So what are you not creating that you need to start creating? Insecurity could be... Insecurity could be a big blockage for you right now. Stress or anxiety. Maybe you aren't being gentle with yourself. But it feels like what's blocking you right now could be something work-related. Could be linked to creating something new. Like the Two of Swords is about choosing a career path. I want to get one more for blockage for you. One more. Nine of Stars as a blockage. Interesting. I think that one talks about insecurity as well. You've also got the Page of Cups as a blockage, so there could be some sort of inner child wound that that's still blocking you. Like fear of sharing your voice or fear of speaking up, fear of independence, being guarded, material instability. What could be blocking you? There could be things in your life that are no longer energetically aligned with you. And what did I say about the King of Cups? I said, be careful about who you give your energy to or what you give your energy to. Protect your energy. You need to evaluate your life and what is no longer aligned with your vibration or sense of self-worth. You may have recently gone through a period where you questioned yourself and your value. You could be struggling with work-life balance. That's something I've been struggling with. I've conquered it. I've fucking conquered it. But I've been struggling with it for like 2 months. Desire to succeed without work. So you could have this desire to succeed without planting the pentacles that it takes to get there. So that could be a blockage that you are... Let's say when it comes to your career, you could be desiring to succeed, but not taking the down-to-earth steps to get there. Or this connection, you could be desiring to succeed and have union without doing the inner work. Again, there could be a blockage when it comes to an inner child wound that you're still struggling with. And you may not be hearing the prompts of your own soul. All right. Let's see your person. Your person. Interesting. Very interesting. We have the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. So it feels like they're evolving right now from the Knight of Wands to the King of Wands. The Runner turns into the... I don't know. Non-runner? I don't know. I just had this heart attack. Like I felt like I was having a heart attack because I thought this wasn't recording. Let's see your person's current energy. Show me their person's current energy. Oh, interesting. We have the King of Pentacles and we have the Three of Pentacles. So it feels like this person could be very focused on work right now, focused on their physical world. With the King of Pentacles, feeling more grounded, more stable. That's another thing, like this person is maybe working on their finances or their stability, so they have more to offer you. Three of Pentacles, they could be getting some sort of mediation. Someone could be helping them in some way. They could be learning how to be a better teammate here as well. Three of Pentacles, it's like this person wants to reconnect with you. They could be getting advice on how to reconnect with you. The advice could also be like, wait to reconnect until you feel more stable and until you don't feel as apprehensive and afraid and as cautious. They're thinking about long term with the King of Pentacles here. Earth energy. I forgot to mention signs when I did yours. Sorry. I want to get one more. One more. We have the Two of Swords. Yeah, the Magician. So it's like they're trying to manifest something with you, but they feel, this is like frozen. They feel frozen on how to come towards you. They are going within. And there's definitely something about wanting to communicate with you here with the Magician. I feel like this person feels stuck on how to come towards you until they are more stable and work on themselves. This is like Gemini and Virgo energy, and we have Earth energy here. The Two of Swords came out for you too. I think for how you felt about this person. So they are stuck. It's kind of like they're in between that, they're transforming from that Knight of Wands to the King of Wands. So they can't really move towards you right now. Let's see how they think you're feeling about them. How do they think you feel about them? Oh my. How do they think you feel about them? The Emperor. So they think that you feel like they need to work on their stability, that they need to be more, that they need to take charge of this situation, that they need to take the lead, that they need to step up and take action. Divine masculine energy, Aries energy, Eight of Wands. So for how they think you feel about them, they think that you feel like they need to be the ones to reach out. They need to be the ones to make this right. This is how they think you feel about them. The Devil in reverse, that they need to be more self-aware. That there's toxic behaviors or unhealthy patterns that they need to release. This is how they think you feel about them. What's really interesting is the King of Swords is here in reverse. I have to be honest about this one. This is how they think you feel about them. Someone hurtful with their words, sharp with their words, perhaps even manipulative with their words. Someone who doesn't see the truth of this person feels like you feel they're dishonest. But it's like someone who's not seeing things clearly. So they think that you feel like they're not seeing things clearly, that there's things about them that they need to be more self-aware of. This could also be someone who, remember, this is how they think you feel about them. They think that you feel like they don't take accountability for their own bad behavior. And maybe they didn't. They could also feel like you feel like they have a more relaxed view on love. Like maybe this is someone who didn't want to be tied down or married. And I feel like you wanted to be married. They also had the commitment card come out for how they feel about you. So you could have been wanting commitment. The Emperor, the Eight of Wands, the Ace of Crystals. So yeah, definitely they think that you feel like they need to be the ones to come towards you with communication after becoming more self-aware, possibly taking accountability. Didn't you have Justice on the bottom of your deck? You did. All right, let's see how they're feeling about you. Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. Dream come true. 10 of Cups, what the what? If you don't understand what's happening with my face right now, those are the two cards that came out for you in a different deck for your energy right now. The same two cards. They've got to be watching you. They've got to be watching you. Or they're picking up on your energy. That is insane. Those are the same two cards that came out for your energy right now. Or am I being delusional? No, those were your cards. This is how they feel about you, that you're focused on your wish fulfillments right now, that you're focused on your happiness. But for how they feel about you, look, they do envision a future with you. They do feel like you're their emotional fulfillment and wish fulfillment. What's on the bottom? I think it's a star. Oh my gosh. Star in reverse for how they're feeling about you. They are feeling a little bit like lack of hope here. I think this person sees that you are doing, like to me, it looks like they feel like you're looking very happy. The fact that the same two cards out of a 78 card deck came out for how they feel about you, and this is your energy right now. I just heard living your best life. And that's the thing about perception, is that maybe you're not living your best life. But anyway, that's how they feel about you. The star in reverse, which means they feel a little bit of like a negative mindset about where they fit in your world is what I'm hearing, or if they can give you that. Hopelessness, despair, negativity, lack of faith. And when I asked how you thought they were feeling about you, that hopeless card came out. So they are feeling a lack of confidence about this connection right now, not because of you, but if they can give you what you desire. That's insane. And Six of Wands in reverse, so that I think they are realizing that they made you feel very unseen and very unloved. Remember, you had the Six of Wands too. They could have also triggered a wound of neglect. They could have neglected you and triggered a wound that needed to be healed here. Again, if you grew up and you felt like your parent neglected you, and then this person acted in the same way, how are they feeling about you? Oh my. So I do feel like they feel like you were accepting less than you deserved in this connection. There could have been an imbalance here. What's funny is they have the Flower of Life too. Same cards. And remember I said what's blocking you. The Flower of Life came out in the reverse. So what are you afraid to create right now for how they feel about you. It's kind of like they're on the fence about creating something with you. Very interesting. You had the Two of Swords, they have the Two of Pentacles. So they do feel like they need to find balance in their life before creating something with you. It's actually good that they're not rushing in. 10 of Swords in reverse, wanting to put a connection back together. I want to see their hope for the future. What is their hope for the future? One more. 4 of Cups. This person's hope for the future is to bring clarity and awareness, to not take you for granted, to be more active in this connection, to give more to this connection. We have the 8 of Pentacles here. So this is about commitment. This is about dedication. Remember your hope for the future. 7 of Pentacles. You hope that they invest in this connection. That's their hope for the future. Interesting. Commitment, dedication, investment. We also have the High Priestess. I want to look at this 8 of Pentacles for a minute. Specifically in love. Cultivating a strong relationship. Commitment, dedication. Nice. The High Priestess, their hope for the future is that they can listen to their inner voice. That they can be intimate with you. That they can have an intimate connection with you. What's interesting is your hope was the Empress and something else, a healthy, sensual, committed relationship. Their hope for the future is an intimate, committed relationship. It's very similar. They hope that you... I'm not saying this person is hoping that you'll wait for them. I'm not saying you should wait for them. But I feel like this person is hoping that you'll be patient while they work on themselves here and come towards you, that you'll still be there when they come in to commit to this. Interesting. I don't, like, if this person was kind of held back or was silent and guarded in the past, their hope is that they can be more vulnerable with you. 6 of Stars, balance, equal give and take and reciprocity. All right, let's look at what action they'll take in the future. What action is this person going to take in the future? The King of Cups. That's your hope for the future. Different deck. And look at the waves. If you know anything about driving a chair in the water like I do, no, I'm just kidding. But to me, that looks like someone coming towards you because the waves are like fanning out. Does that make sense? That was your hope for the future. That they would come towards you in King of Cups energy. They're coming with an offer of love and vulnerability. That's freaking magical. Three of Cups is a reunion energy. So they could come in a very friendly energy after a period of holding back. But this is about like emotional intelligence. It's about managing their reactions. Remember the camel? Remember the camel? Let's just confirm this action with the King of Cups. 10 of Crystals in reverse. I just saw that in their hopes for the future, didn't I? So their hope for the future is that reconciliation, that they can put this connection back together, that they can make amends for those painful swords, for hurting you. There's definitely, they want to be open with you. One more. Justice. Oh my gosh. King of Wands. That was on the bottom of your deck. That was on the bottom of theirs when we started. Now I'm hearing start back at 1. Bold action. Taking accountability, coming in with honesty. You know what? I saw all of the kings in their deck. All of them. And the Emperor. And the Emperor is the embodiment of all the kings. So right now this person is working on their King of Pentacles. Messages from your person. What an interesting reading. I'll have to do that again. I shuffled them all before I got on camera too, so that's a lie. There was a few of them I shuffled. I shuffled the tarot and the messages before I got on camera because that's all I was going to use, but that didn't happen. All right. What does your person want to say to you? What do they want to say to you? What do they want to say to you? What do they want to say to you? Okay. So they do have career driven, and remember, froggy in my throat, releasing, cleansing, healing. They could have been programmed to focus on the 3D, but King of Pentacles, they are focused on their career right now and their stability. They could have prioritized work over you. Love is on the back burner until I am financially stable. So they're working on their financial stability right now. Enchanted, the more I see you, the more I love and adore you. 10 of Cups, 9 of Cups, watching you. Is that a Taylor Swift song? Moving towards you with confidence, ready to show you how much they love you. King of Wands, Emperor. Guided, my spirit guides are helping me assist in this divine connection, new insight, intuition. Fascinating. So trust your intuition. I just heard a card fall. Oh, there's a card on the floor. It's the energy card. Hang on. I've transformed into my higher self because of you. Your energy changed me. Patience. You've been patient with me on this journey. The wait is over. True love is here. So I feel like you have been patient. Moonlight. The moon represents your emotions. Moonlight is a reflection of your love. Could both look at the moon at the same time. That happened to me and my friend one night. It was so magical. Ew, 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 ew. I was looking at the moon, and then I felt my phone buzz, and my friend sent me a picture of the moon. And I'm like, I was just looking at the moon. That's magic. 222 on the clock here. Right, this one. Ew. I've been asking my friends for advice on how to handle the situation with you. Didn't I say friends can be a blockage because they don't understand? I'm not saying for all of you that, or everyone gives their friends bad advice. It's not even bad advice, you know? It's the advice you give someone that you love when you hear what they're going through and they're being hurt. You tell them like, oh, you don't need that in your life. You can do better than that, or whatever it is. But a lot, like I said, a lot of people don't understand counterpart connections. So yeah, opinions of others could have been here. Also, remember I was hearing something about mediation. So whoever's mediating this person could be telling them, don't just rush towards them, really work on that personal growth before going towards them. You are my muse, my inspiration to create. You ignite my soul. Divine timing, the universe always delivers in divine timing. Be patient and trust the process. But we do, like, I roll my eyes and I make jokes about throwing it out the window. But we aren't in control of when it happens. It does happen in divine timing. And divine timing doesn't run on a calendar. It doesn't go by the calendar. It doesn't go by a clock. We can't give it a limit, you know. It happens. That's the thing about energy too, is that it's almost like a puzzle. So it'll happen in divine timing when all the pieces fall into place. It depends on healing. It depends on lessons being learned. It depends on those moon cycles, divine timing. And we have love offer, last card. I want to offer you the world and promise you will have the best version of me. So the advice they're being given could be, do you want to rush towards this person out of fear? Or do you want to be the best version of yourself and transform and then go towards them? Remember, they're hoping that you'll still be there. They're hoping that you'll be patient. Anyway. I'm going to leave it here, my friends. I am sending you lots of love and light, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.